everybody, and welcome back to the Tackling Basketball Podcast. My name is Jonathan.
I'm Micah.
And we are once again without Evan. His in-laws just sold their house and are coming into town, and they're super busy, so...
Supposedly.
I
don't buy it.
Yeah, more than likely, he's just not interested in hanging out with us again.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
I blame me.
I blame you too, Micah. But we've got a good show in store for you today. All the usual segments except for, obviously, trivia. Hard to run that with only two people, though I wish we could. But we'll go ahead and get it started with our Toast and Roast segment. Micah, who are you toasting?
I am toasting the Oklahoma City Thunder after a trade that they processed today, at least the day that we are recording this, 10/17, getting, you bet, even more draft capital.
Mm-hmm.
They traded for Kevin Porter Jr. Just to waive, because no one wants that issue on their hands.
No.
So they're essentially paying $17 million for the remainder of his contract and sending Oladipo and Jeremiah Robinson Earl over to Houston for 2 second-round picks, 27 and 28 from Minnesota and Milwaukee, respectively. This puts their total for the next 7 seasons of draft picks. They have 15 firsts and 22 seconds. Which is absurd considering they're a team that both me and Jonathan have making playoffs this year. Like, they're already looking like a fine team. They were in the play-in last season without Chet Holmgren the whole time. Now getting him and having another year of experience on Shy Guy and Josh Giddey and the 2 Jalen Williams that they have.
Yep. They have enough draft capital now that over the next 7 years, they could replace their team 2.5 times over. Which they do not need to do. They need to, hit on 1 or 2 more draft picks.
And then they have so much trade potential.
A ton of trade power if they want to use that. Or they could just be a dynasty for a decade. It's kind of up to them when they choose to cash in, but they have set themselves up brilliantly for the future, and they've been using their draft capital really well so far as well. So I don't anticipate that stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, man, they're going to be a fun team to watch for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I definitely have them as a sort of sleeper on my League Pass watch list.
Oh, yeah, they're going to be a fun team to see.
I think Zach Lowe had them 11-ish.
Yeah, I got upset after he put the Blazers at 27. I get we're bad, but come on. I think we should be better than the Jazz, but whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
Whatever. I'm not bitter.
I was surprised he put the Raptors so low. They were right after you.
Yeah, that was. Yeah,
it's kind of a stale team at this point. No young people to really root for anymore.
Yeah,
but
they didn't really do anything that much from last year, and last year they were a pretty boring team. So yeah. I kind of get it. But who are you toasting?
I am toasting your boy Tyreek Hill.
My guy.
He has been insane this year. He currently has 6 touchdowns through 6 weeks, which obviously sets him on pace for 17 touchdowns on the year, which would be tied for 6th in NFL history for a receiver.
Jeez.
He currently has 816 receiving yards, putting him on pace for over 2,300 on the season. No receiver has ever surpassed 2,000. So, no receiver's also ever won MVP. Keep him in mind for a sort of sleeper pick on that. But plus 5,000 right now, by the way. I was tempted to take him, but I just need to get on the board right now. So, yeah, he is looking absolutely incredible. Also, 43% of their receiving yards as a team are going to him. So it's not entirely because Tua is a high volume passer who is also electric himself. No, Tyreek Hill is just that dominant. And I think a lot of people knew he would be top 3 this year. Not a lot of people put him in this category just because it's never been done before.
Yeah, it'd be a dumb thing to predict.
So hell of a season. I'm excited to see if he can be the first receiver to ever pass 2,000, and I hope that he becomes the first receiver to get MVP if he does. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think Stephen A. Smith had him as a sleeper MVP pick.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know what that means, but...
It means that his odds are still plus 5,000.
Yeah.
And they should be better than that.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to move on to my roast. And I'll be honest, it isn't so much of a roast of myself as it is me sharing someone else's. Because I was in a good mood today. I don't know. I'm not trying to spread hate. I'm all about love right now. But the other day, on Sunday, Milwaukee and the Lakers played in a preseason game, and Giannis had a terrific block against Christian Wood, and then posted a picture of that block on Instagram and captioned Christian Wood in it, which is just demoralizing. If I was Christian
amazing.
Wood, I would just retire. How do you come back from that? I thought that was one of the funniest things I've seen in a while from a player, especially an MVP player like Giannis against some poor, Christian Wood is good and he's solid, but man, that's a tough.
Right.
It's brutal.
It's just embarrassing. No way around it. But on to my roast this week, and gotta go with the previously undefeated teams in the NFL, being the 49ers and the Eagles. No one probably expected either team to fall this week. Certainly no one pegged both to fall. 49ers lost 19-17 against the Browns, who are, in all respects, a pretty solid team this year.
Every other week.
Except PJ Walker was their quarterback this week.
Yeah, that made the whole thing worse.
I fucking love PJ, but he's not a super talented NFL quarterback. The reason I love him is because he was so fun to watch in the AAF. And in the NFL, he threw 2 picks, I think, in this game, and the Browns' defense was still able to hold out the Niners, and the Niners' defense floundered somehow. They got 2 really game-changing plays and weren't able to convert the rest of the game. And then you have the Eagles losing 20-14 against the Jets, which it's another team ravaged by a brutal injury to Aaron Rodgers earlier this year. Obviously, that's old news, but it's not when they defeat one of the best teams in football with Zach Wilson at their quarterback spot. So they're sort of an honorable mention for Toast of the Week too, the Jets.
Oh, yeah, I nearly toasted them.
I nearly did as well. They will be receiving that box of champagne from the 72 Dolphins. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, every year. For those
'cause
of you who don't.
That was the afternoon game and 49ers were morning. Yeah.
Yeah, the last team to lose in the regular season or playoffs, the 72 Dolphins, the only undefeated team in history, send the team that beat them a box of champagne. So the Jets are going to be enjoying that very soon, along with the spoils of just an obscene victory against all odds. So this almost is more of a toast to the Browns and the Jets, but equally a roast against the Niners and Eagles.
Yeah. I feel like it's more of a roast against the Niners and more of a toast for the Jets.
I think so.
Yeah. Also, there is one, Evan wanted to throw in an honorable mention roast, even though he can't be here. His message was, quote, "The Chicago Bears and their dog shit football team." As if he hasn't brutally roasted them enough. He wanted to do it again, just in spirit.
It is not, he realized that, oh, shit, now that 6 weeks have gone by, I haven't roasted them in half of my weeks. So he caught back up, and this is his 3rd time roasting the Bears in 6 weeks, which, don't beat them while they're down. They were the worst team in football last year. They have a win. This is good. Go Bears. But they also only lost by 6. But, okay.
Yeah, excited to see what he has in week 8.
Oh, me too. I can't wait. All right, moving on. It's time for the NFL Power Rankings segment. So in this segment, obviously, we discuss sort of like biggest risers and fallers throughout the week, and sort of our projections for how the rest of the season will go. In essence, so Micah, what sort of changed on your board after last week?
I mean, as we already kind of alluded to with the Jets, I think they were, along with the Bengals, those two were my biggest risers. The Jets are looking pretty good. Like, I completely wrote them off after the Aaron Rodgers injury, and I don't understand how they're this good, because Zach Wilson still is not great. Like, he's not doing anything incredible. But the fact that they've beaten the Bills, they've beaten the Eagles, they nearly beat the Chiefs. Like, this is a good team. Like, so... Plus, their, like, remaining schedule, like, doesn't seem that difficult. Like, they're facing the Browns again. They're facing the Chargers in a few weeks, who knows what's going on with them. But then they also got, like, Giants, Raiders, Falcons, Texans, Commanders, Browns. If they get them on the off week, that's great. It's a guaranteed dub. And Patriots, like who knows? Like, this could be a team that could very easily make the playoffs. And I completely wrote them off. So I do want to give them a shout out for that. They did rise. Bengals rose for beating the Seahawks. They're looking like they're actually getting their groove now and playing good football.
Yeah, they might be one of the first teams to ever, or they would be the 7th team, I think, to start 0-3 and make the playoffs. So we'll see if they can pull it off.
Yeah. Besides that, boosted up the Giants a point for nearly beating the Bills. But, man, if they just would have run the last couple plays or just made a completion in the end zone, that would have been a ridiculous day in sports for them.
It would have been amazing. I think part of the reason I held them back from rising was just spite.
Yeah.
I really wanted that to go differently.
Me too. Other than that, like, I feel like, among the top, some teams made corrections. Ravens and the Jags and the Cowboys all won, so boosted them up a little bit, along with the Browns. I'm fully guaranteed that the Browns are going to go 9-8 and just win and lose back-to-back games.
Yeah.
I'm 100% convinced. If there's like a line...
pattern.
It's the pattern. If there's a line on a sports book that will let me bet that, I'm putting all my money on it. I'm convinced.
Man, I'm a little surprised, though, to see that both you and Evan still have the Niners and Eagles as 1 and 2.
I don't know. It was really tough for me to go through that because all of them are 5-1. Honestly, I think the Dolphins lost like the hardest game. Besides, Chiefs lost to the Lions, right?
Chiefs lost to the Lions.
Yeah. So it's like, and Dolphins lost to the Bills. I feel like those are the like toughest losses that came.
Yeah.
I don't know, but even then, it was like, it felt too strong to react on just the Niners and Eagles losing one game when everyone else has. I get that they were like pretty bad losses, especially the Niners. But I'm honestly mostly holding out until this week when the Dolphins play the Eagles. Like, that's going to shape a lot for me.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a huge game. I'm not certain that either team will claim my top spot with it, but... they have a great shot to rise. For me, like the 49ers and the Eagles, I was not happy with either of those losses. I think they both lost to bad teams, and that is enough for me to say that the Chiefs, who only lost to the Lions without Travis Kelce, with Kadarius Toney, like giving away 3 free, like horrible plays to the defense. That being their only loss, and now they're on a 5-game win streak, is good enough for me to put them back at 1 finally. But Yeah, I'm not overly upset with the 49ers or the Eagles. You'll see I actually dropped the Eagles all the way down to 4, well below either of you two, mostly because this was like one of their only like really challenging games so far, if you could even call it that, against the Jets. And they have a bunch of wins versus easy teams, and now they have a bad loss versus a team that has proven a lot, but is not supposed to be good enough to beat the Eagles. Seahawks, my biggest faller this week. Oh, no, the Chargers are my biggest faller this week. That is a huge hole to come out of now being 2-3, in especially in this conference and division. Like, their hopes at the division title are gone. Their hopes at the conference wild card is really low. It's a very competitive conference, and I don't know if they're going to be able to win enough games to get out of it. And then you'll see like my bottom 10 barely moved. I don't know. It's like all of these teams like either didn't play or they lost to bad teams. The only exception being the Vikings, who beat a bad team that was barely worse than them, and the Patriots, who lost to a bad team that was barely better than them. So they kind of moved.
Yeah, there were like very few games that week that I had worse teams beating the better teams, besides obviously the 49ers and
Bengals Seahawks as well.
Yeah, Bengals Seahawks, that was the third one.
49ers, Eagles, and the Seahawks were the 3 bad losses for me this week.
Yeah.
And it shows in my rankings. But yeah, just not a whole lot of movement. We're sort of getting to the point in the season right now where the list is fairly accurate by now. So thankfully, it's starting to slow down a little bit, and this might even need to be a shorter segment in the future as a result. But
which is great timing because the NBA is about to start, and we're going to have a lot more to talk about.
I'm so excited for that.
Oh, same.
I'm gonna have to make a new spreadsheet for an NBA power rankings probably.
I don't want to have to pick 82 games for 30 teams. I guess 15 teams,
well, we might keep the matchup of the week, but make it so that you pick either NFL or NBA.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
In fact, I probably should have done that this week. I'll change it on the fly.
I was thinking about that. I was like based on when it's recording, it's like lining up at the same exact time. So I was like, I don't know how to go about that one.
Right.
But I mean, I want to talk about mine anyways.
All right, everybody, it's time for your favorite segment according to the comments. Leave a comment if you like this segment or a different one, or what you want us to change, or if you hate us, or if you love us. Please love us. But it's time for the matchup of the week. Micah, who is your pick for the top most interesting matchup this week?
I mean, I don't think it's much of a question. It's the Dolphins versus the Eagles.
In the NFL, certainly.
In the NFL, certainly, yes. I mean, there's... oh, you already changed it. Was it Lions-Baltimore? Was that the other... I think that game is...
Lions-Ravens.
Lions, yeah. So that game should also be interesting. But Dolphins and Eagles... obviously I'm a Dolphins fan, but I'm absurdly excited for this game. I don't know, Eagles are coming out of a game that they should have won, and I think they're going to be really angry and are going to come out to win. Also, I think the Dolphins are the toughest team that they've faced so far. It's this will be a real test for them. I think the rest of their schedule has been relatively easy. Dolphins, when they had their biggest challenge, absolutely crumbled against the Bills and did not play well. So I think this is hopefully an opportunity for them to really come out and show what they are and that they can play against a good team. But also, I think it's going to be pretty tough. Xavier Howard is probably going to be out. Jalen Ramsey, there's a very small chance that they come back. Mm-hmm. And if both of those guys are out, that's going to be tough to stop this Eagles team. A-Chain is also out, which is going to be tough for our offense. But also, I was looking at the defensive rankings for all the teams. And while the Eagles have one of the best rushing defenses They're only like 20th in receiving, which makes me really happy to see what Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle do. I think this is going to be a phenomenal game for the two of them. And then it'll be interesting to see if we can stop Swift. I mean, our entire defense is pretty mid and not that great. But this is two teams that I think have a lot to prove in the toughest competition that they've seen so far.
Yeah.
I'm beyond excited to watch this game.
I mean, I'm hopeful that this might be one of the most exciting games of the season, honestly. Two teams that have like been in our top 5 power rankings since week 2, like consensus.
Yeah.
For you since week 1.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I guess being a homer was the right choice here.
It's finally paid off.
It really has. But it's going to be a couple of fun offenses and a couple of... I mean, the Eagles' defense has been pretty good this year. They have some exciting young players, that really talented defensive tackle rookie. So we'll see if he is able to disrupt them at all in their passing game. But certainly going to be a fun one. For my matchup of the week, though, I've got an NBA game.
Let's go. Finally, we're so close.
And that is obviously opening night, Lakers at Nuggets. And man, I'm excited for this one. It means everything to the Lakers and hardly anything to the Nuggets. We are raising our banner, doing the ring ceremony, whole 9 yards. Can't wait to watch that on TV, unfortunately, but can't wait to watch it. And then I can't wait to destroy this Lakers team who has been dreaming of this game all offseason.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jokic was out riding horses. Jamal was like, I don't know, probably training really hard. Jamal just never quits.
Yeah.
But the entire Lakers organization has been tweeting and dreaming and talking about this all offseason. And it's probably going to be an exciting game, I think. Couple of really high-octane offenses, so long as the Lakers, like... a lot of questions sort of in the Lakers right now. When is age going to come catch up with a couple of these players? And we might see signs of that answer in this first game.
That's what we said for like 7 years for LeBron.
We have.
It never shows, besides like sitting out games. But when he plays,
yeah,
it doesn't matter.
The one I will say, with him like talking, like sort of feigning that retirement talk last year,
yeah,
the question starts to become a little bit more realistic of how long does LeBron have left. And granted, he's coming off of an entire offseason to rest, so I doubt that we will see a lot of cracks today. But it'll be interesting to sort of get an idea of what both of these teams might represent over the year. So
yeah, I mean, and that's a huge part of it. Like, LeBron should be completely healthy. AD should be completely healthy. And the Lakers, at the end of last season, after they made all those trade deadline trades, like, looked really good. Yeah, they still couldn't stop the Nuggets in the playoffs because nobody could.
Yep.
But now with all this rest and hopefully, like, I still think that the Nuggets are going to win this game. I hope the Nuggets win this game because fuck the Lakers.
Yeah.
But I hope this is going to be a crazy fun game to watch and really close. And I think by all means it should be. Like, this should be both teams, I think, probably giving it their all. Like, Nuggets just won the championship, and I think they have something that they want to, like, show that they still have it, which obviously they do. They barely lost anyone in the offseason. But this is the opening game for the NBA, and I can't think of many better matchups that I would want to watch. This is going to be so much fun.
Which is so interesting because it's like this was a swept matchup in the playoffs. But honestly, it probably shouldn't have been. I will never like say that to a Lakers fan's face because it's so fun to like rub that in their faces. But this was a really competitive series. They really figured out something when they put Hachimura on Jokic.
Yeah.
I just love that Jokic got AD subbed off of him.
Which I mean, like...
Probably the best move. No one can guard Jokic, so
Yeah.
why waste your best defender on him?
Exactly. Like,
Honestly, that's a really smart thing to do in my mind, but...
which is just ridiculous that as a team, like, you just have to be like, okay, he's going to do whatever he's going to do. There's nothing we can do to stop him. How can we just keep them from winning?
Yeah.
Even if, like, because the one game that you lost in the finals, didn't Jokic have, like, 50 points or something? He had a crazy amount of points, and that was the only game they lost.
Spo, by the way, in that game, like, he was asked after that game, so did you, like, try to let Jokic score a lot so that he wasn't able to distribute it as much and that? Because, like, that's been a common theory of, like, how do you beat these Nuggets? Well, you need to take away their passing game, their, like, team chemistry and stuff. And Spo was like, are you a fucking idiot? Like, yeah, we were trying to take away the passing game, but we are not happy with Jokic scoring 50 points. No. Like, we got away with it this time, but...
Yeah.
So, I'm excited for this entire season. I can't wait. It'll be a really big relief to no longer have to watch the Broncos.
And to keep on with the NBA talk, let's move on to some postseason predictions. We in the last 2 weeks we did our standings that we think that the Eastern and Western Conference are going to be in. Now it's time to talk who we think are going to progress through the playoffs, and most importantly, who are going to be the matchups in the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. What are going to be the results, and then the finals results as well. So, Jonathan, why don't you kick us off with what you think is going to happen?
I mean, I'm assuming these will all be on the same slide, so I'll go ahead and point out we all have the exact same Final Four team except for one. Mike and I both have the Suns. Evan has the Warriors, which honestly I was tempted to put the Warriors as well as an like fun sleeper pick, but it's just feels like one of those years where you have. Like especially in the East, you have these two teams that are clearly head and shoulders above the rest, and then in the West, it's like take your choice of four teams. You almost have to include the Nuggets, and then the Suns, the Warriors, the Lakers, all good picks. You could even like willingly be bold and pick someone else, but I think that the way that I had it play out makes the most sense in my mind. Nuggets conquering the Suns in the Western Conference Final, made that one 6 games. I think that the Nuggets just are a very complete team, and they are hoping that sort of Bruce Brown is replaced by some of their younger depth pieces. But, I mean, we've seen throughout the preseason, Christian Brown has been looking really good, and the postseason last year. He was the only rookie in the conference finals that was in a rotation. So that's a great sign for his future. And then like Julian Strother's also been looking really good. Sort of like Calvin Booth, the GM for the Nuggets, was quoted recently as saying, we identified him as the Christian Brown on the offensive side, because Christian Brown's more known for like being a utility guy on offense and a really strong defensive player. And Julian Strother is a strong offensive player with good utility on defense. Saw a couple of nasty blocks this last game in preseason, if you pay any attention to that, which most people don't. And so I have the Nuggets topping the Suns. I have the Celtics beating the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think that the Drew Holiday addition was just so beautifully cohesive with this team. Almost made that Marcus Smart move make sense. Just because that, like, I felt like they were so stupid to move on from Smart, and then they picked up Drew Holiday, which filled that void and then some, and so I have high hopes for them this season. And then my finals pick, got to go with my boys, the Nuggets. 5 games here. I don't put a lot of weight on how many games I chose, but the teams, I think, is how it will work out. I just think that the Nuggets are the best in the league. didn't lose nearly as much as people think when they say, oh no, Bruce Brown signed somewhere else. Love the guy. He earned his money, and I will very much miss him. It was a loss, but it wasn't enough to offset a 4-loss postseason team and make them not the best team in the league. So,
yeah. That's a crazy thing with this NBA season, and it makes me so happy. In retrospect, looking at the times when I was like, well, it's going to be Golden State versus Cleveland. Golden State's probably going to win.
Right.
And now we're at a place where Jonathan just made his picks. I can 100% see that happening. I'm like, yeah, that totally makes sense. And while we have the same 4 teams making those last 4 spots, I have 2 completely different teams making the finals. So I've got the Suns beating the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals and the Bucks beating the Celtics in the Eastern. And honestly, there's no great reason why. I'm not going to dive into depth about people's rookies and sophomores because the Blazers aren't in this. So don't have much to talk about. But I think the Suns are going to win it all. I think they're going to be so gosh darn good. Assuming they can stay healthy. But they were already my pick to win after they made the Kevin Durant trade. Even on that short of time, just him and Devin Booker together, I thought was absolutely insane. And now they're adding Beal. And I don't understand how you stop it. I get that the Nuggets are probably still, right now, the Nuggets are still the better team. I'm hoping if the Suns can stay healthy throughout the season and can, gain cohesion, I don't understand how you stop that offense.
I think my best argument against the Suns offense versus the Nuggets is Michael Malone is a really, really talented defensive coach. Because, you look at the players and we probably have no chance at stopping the Suns. And obviously, they probably have no chance at stopping the Nuggets.
Yeah.
But you've seen a lot of talent from our coaching staff at, turning these players' weaknesses into strengths. Or at least, being able to offset their weaknesses and create strengths in this defense that the players probably shouldn't be able to support on their own. But really excellent scheming, a couple of I'm honestly we could go into a full analysis video at some point about the way that Michael Malone almost single-handedly has revolutionized pick and roll defenses over the last couple of years. And I think there's some solid merit there, but we're not much of an analysis, so I kind of want us to turn it a little bit more into that. We'll see at some point. But yeah, I think that the coaching staff will be able to hold off their offense enough that our offense can thrive.
Yeah. No.
Which, like you said,
again,
it's a shot in the dark here. It's every single one of these teams is amazing, and every single one of them has a good shot at making the championship game and winning it. But
yeah, and it's absurd to me that I'm saying that the team that just throttled the entire playoffs are not going to win it again after barely changing their team. It feels horrible for me to say that the Nuggets are going to win, because how could anyone say that? But weirdly, a lot of people are saying that they have the 4th best odds to win the championship this year.
I think it's 3rd right now. I barely missed the window for 4th in my bet. Spoiler alert.
And then on the East side, again, it's 2 ridiculously incredible teams. It's like you were saying with the Celtics, I was in the same boat where I was so confused the entire offseason. You're giving up Smart. You got rid of they got rid of Robert Williams later. Who was the other center that they got rid of? They got rid of another guy that was what are you doing? These are bad moves. And then you had Drew Holiday, and I'm like, okay, this team just looks so crazy good. I think most of my picking in the Bucks is just I love Dame. And I don't see how, even with such a defensive juggernaut that the Celtics are going to be, I don't see how any team can stop Dame and Giannis together. Like in the one preseason game that they've played so far, like they didn't play a lot, but they played nice.
Yeah.
And so like that's going to be a really fun series to watch. Like I will be surprised if any of these top 4 teams don't lock in that place. Like I get the West is crazy and anything can happen. Like I'm not going to rule the Lakers out. I'm not going to rule the Clippers out if somehow they get healthy. Like stuff can happen, but I will be surprised if it's not these top 4 teams. And after that, any one of them could win. And I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
They all have different things going for them. I think the Bucks offense is going to be ridiculous. The Celtics defense is going to be ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Nuggets just won. Suns, their offense is going to be insane. Like, but anything could happen. But I think the Suns are going to win in 6. I don't know. I love Kevin Durant. I love Devin Booker. Plus, I want to see Nurkic get a ring. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Why not?
I mean, I'll have to see at some point if there's a bet on just West or East wins the finals. Because, like, East has the best shot of making the finals because it's a weaker conference. So Bucks or Celtics basically have a coin flip who gets in.
Yeah.
But the West all around I still think is stronger even after these couple of, like, trades that have vastly improved both the Bucks and the Celtics.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Evan is the only one of us, quickly going over him, he's the only one that picks an Eastern Conference team to win the finals. I honestly don't hate it.
No.
Celtics over Warriors. Warriors were a close pick for me as well.
Celtics over Nuggets.
Nuggets over Warriors in Western Conference Finals.
Okay, yeah.
I think that Warriors have one of the better shots of being the sleeper team to make the conference finals. We'll see if they're able to get it done. If they are matched up against the Suns, I think that both teams like sort of fit really strangely into each other's weaknesses. So we're going to see some really like chaotic games. That'll be a fun 7-game series that might be a coin flip. But so Nuggets Warriors I don't hate. Nuggets I would take in that series. Bucks Celtics I did pick Celtics in mine, and then Celtics Nuggets. I can see the Celtics coming out of this. I can see any of these teams coming out of it. It's so fun to have parity back in the league. Oh. And I mean, like, it feels weird because it feels weird saying that because last year we probably had even more parity than this year.
Oh, yeah.
But this is so much better than just the annual Cavs versus Warriors matchup. So, fun time to be an NBA fan. So, I'm excited for it. Can't wait for opening night.
We're so close.
So close. All right, it's time for our final segment of the night, being Sportsbook Showdown. A couple of updates from last week. Evan's Jaguars first drive result bet hit, and he also hit another one in week 4. So he is like dominating so far. The only one of us three to actually be positive on our bets right now, and it's by less than a unit. Meanwhile, I have missed every single bet. And Micah has hit one bet. So I don't think that it's possible for me to even come back in just this week. But with that said, and with everyone knowing not to follow our advice, Micah, what is your first bet this week?
My first bet is the Jaguars, Commanders, and Raiders all winning money line. I think the Jaguars were the only team that had a plus odds, which I was kind of surprised about because they're playing the Saints, and I feel like the Jags have kind of been on a roll these last couple weeks. They're looking really good to me, so I felt good about that. And then Commanders over the Giants, which I feel pretty good about, and Raiders over the Bears I feel good about. So I felt relatively good about all the bets I've played this season, and one of them is hit, so this one will probably also lose. But I put 2 units on that at 492 odds.
You felt good about my bets as well, which I appreciate, but I have Obviously not hit a single one so far.
Well, usually in the parlays, we have like one game that's matching in our picks, and that's the one that always loses.
Right.
The one that I hit was not a parlay. It was just Seahawks winning.
For my first bet of the week, I'm going with Nuggets and Warriors to both win on opening night. That is plus 193, going 2 units down, hoping to finally get on the board. So we'll see what happens. We do not have Evans bets this week yet, so I'm guessing they will be on the slideshow in the episode. We'll show them now. Those suck.
Yeah, there's no way those hit.
Wow. Awful.
Can't believe he picked that.
Micah, what's your second bet?
My second bet is all underdogs. I've got the Colts beating the Browns because this is the Browns off game, so that's a lock. Put all your money on that. Browns are going to lose.
Honestly, yeah.
And then I've got Steelers beating the Rams. I don't know what's going on with the Steelers, but to me, they could win any game they play. It's just whether or not they actually do. And then I've got Dolphins beating the Eagles. This is the one I'm most scared about. But, I mean, I just want it to happen the most. So I put 2 units on that, and that is plus 2,338.
Not bad. I like most of that. Which means it's not going to hit.
Most likely 2 of them are going to hit.
Yeah.
Same with the first bet.
Yep.
That's how it works.
See if you can do a round robin on these, because, like, honestly, I almost always miss a leg.
Yeah.
So if you can round robin my picks, you're probably making money. On to mine, though. I've got... I really liked doing last week the power ranking parlay, so I'm doing that again. If you missed last week's episode, that is teams that are not favored to win, but I have higher in the power rankings than their opponent. That includes this week the Jaguars over the Saints, the Lions over the Ravens, and the Steelers over the Rams, plus 1024, and I'm going 2 units down on that one as well. Yeah. Here's Evan's second bet. And man, this one sucks too.
Yeah, horrible.
I don't know what he was thinking here. Obviously, all 5 of these legs are going to miss, assuming it's a 5-leg bet.
Now, I will say I almost added the Lions beating the Ravens in my underdogs bet. But I was like, what are the chances I hit 4 of them? I got to take one of these off. And that was the one that I was most questionable about.
For sure. That's fair.
But I think by all means, they could easily win that game.
You like my bet?
I'm just going to say no, I don't like your bet.
Yes!
In hopes that you can actually win one.
Thanks, buddy.
And then in the spirit of the NBA starting up soon, I picked all of the division winners for this NBA season. So I got Nuggets, Kings, Celtics, Bucks, Hawks, and Grizzlies. Most of these are favored in the apps. Nuggets were favorites. Bucks and Celtics obviously were. I think Hawks had worse odds than Miami.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But at the same time, we talked about this a little bit when we did the Eastern Conference standings. The Heat don't really ever seem to care about the regular season, and they're worse than last season. They lost players and didn't gain anyone good. And the Hawks, after were pretty abysmal last season until getting Quinn Snyder as their coach, and then started actually winning some games. I'm hoping with a full season of Quinn Snyder that DeJounte Murray and Trae Young can actually figure out how to play together. Plus, they're moving off John Collins, finally, because I don't think that was great for their team. Even though he's a good player, I really like John Collins. There was just always some weird issues with that. The Kings had the worst odds in the Pacific, which felt weird to me because they won it last season.
Yeah.
And this is a crazy division. You got the Lakers, the Clippers, the Suns, the Kings, and the Warriors. All of them. Who knows what they're going to do? But I think the Kings are going to come out with something to prove. I think they want to show people that they weren't just a fluke last year, but they are really darn good and nearly beat the Warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nearly beat the Warriors in the playoffs. In a really fun series.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be great. And then Grizzlies, I think getting Marcus Smart is going to kind of hold over that interim period that they don't have Ja Morant. And then even last season when they didn't have Ja Morant, they were still
better.
winning. Yeah,
They were better than they were with Ja Morant.
It doesn't make sense. But I feel good about all of these picks. It's plus 16,390. Obviously, who knows what's going to happen with a lot of these divisions, but I feel pretty good about it. I put 1 unit on it.
Yeah, it's a fun bet. A lot of some really good plus odds on that, I think, because obviously you have the Kings who are plus 900 almost on their own.
Yeah.
And then a couple of other teams that aren't favored. I wouldn't go this particular set myself, as we sort of discussed in our own rankings over the last 2 episodes, but I think it's got a good shot and really good odds, so not bad.
Thanks.
And then for my final bet, gotta go Nuggets as NBA champions. I mean, I got in early enough last season on this bet that I made a pretty penny. This year it's only going to be plus 550 for me, but I am shocked that they are way behind the Celtics and the Bucks right now, both of them hovering around plus 200. And the gap, it should not be that big.
Yeah.
Granted, the Nuggets have a much tougher path to go through in the playoffs to get to the finals, but
still,
they are not that much worse of a team. They're not a worse team in my mind. So, happy with this bet. Happy with the odds. I did not expect that after the Nuggets won the finals with only 4 total losses, that I would be getting plus 550 for them to repeat.
Right.
Evan's final bet here also probably sucks.
I kind of like that one.
You do?
Yeah. I think it'll be a good one. Way to go, Evan.
See, I need to root against it, though.
Yeah, I rooted against the first 2 without seeing them, so I feel like he's got to have one good one.
Yeah, but,
he's beating us.
He's destroying us. All 3 of his are going to hit this week, but I need to, speak it into existence.
Okay.
This is a horrible bet, so. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. That's all the time that we have for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And Micah, will you send us out with a hot take?
Yeah, I think in, let's say, what is it? It's 2023 right now. I'm going to say 2026. The Oklahoma City Thunder are going to win the championship. Make it 27. 26-27 season. Winning the championship.
That's semi-realistic.